What's up, guys? Mike the Cop. And if you follow my content for any period of time, or you're just stumbling into it now, you'll hear it from me. The target for me, of when I feel like I'm doing content that matters, is where law enforcement meets culture. And in an ideal world, when I produce that content, it is both engaging in some way and educational. That's in a best case scenario. Sometimes it tends to be more of one than the other, or sometimes I just miss the mark, and that happens. But that's what I guess keeps me focused and keeps me on track and pulls me back into where I think I need to be going with my content. And some people wish that my content was something that it's not. Some people wish I was Mike the exposed bad cop every video guy, and that's just not me. Not that somebody can't do that. It's just not what I feel called to do, and I don't think that essentially addresses the type of content that I want to produce on a regular basis. I have talked about bad cops before. I have talked about my personal experience with bad cops, and I've exposed bad cops. But at the end of the day, to say there are bad cops, we can all agree to that. It's like saying there's bad any profession, bad teachers, doctors, lawyers, garbage men, bad skydivers that are just raging buttholes. Whatever. That's humanity. This is the human experience, because sometimes people who are bad people end up in good professions, and sometimes people who are in good professions do bad things. And that's just the reality of life. And in this case today, I'm going to talk about a situation that I became aware of. It happened last March, actually, in Paterson, New Jersey. The officer was just sentenced to over 5 years with almost $33,000 in restitution. And it was exposed, not only did he abuse his power here in use of force, but he also had been involved in narcotics dealing. And it led to a whole investigation where 6 officers at the department have been exposed as corrupt. So we'll talk about that on the other side of the video. But at the end of the day, I'm not talking about this because I feel like I have to talk about it. I'm doing it because I think this is a good opportunity based on what the officer McAusland says at his sentencing as to how he got to this place. It's an opportunity for me where I feel like I want to talk about it, because what makes a good cop when you compare and contrast with a bad cop? How do some people end up there? There's people who watch my content who are aspiring law enforcement officers, and they need to hear this. And people who are watching from the outside who just want a perspective of how does this happen, or how do cops feel when this happens. I think there's just an opportunity for me here to hit my target and talk about this situation at the same time. So watch these videos of the situation, and I will kind of wrap it up on the other side and talk about what I believe makes a good cop.
Bitch. Oh, yes, I am. Right here. You see my cheek? Go at it.
You got the right guy. Hey.
Bitch.
I'm a what?
Do it!
I'm fucking playing with you. Calm your ass down.
Like I said, Officer McAusland has been sentenced already. He was caught, and rightfully so. And this whole process has led to an investigation where several officers have been exposed, and again, rightfully so, and will be dealt with. And that's important to know. This is what happens most of the time when a bad cop is exposed. They are punished like they should be. They are fired. They are charged. This happens. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it isn't happening. So a lot of people say, I saw these videos of these cops doing whatever on YouTube. Just because you saw a video doesn't mean that that's normative. An exception doesn't mean the norm. And just because you aren't aware of a situation doesn't mean that it didn't happen. If those who come and troll where I post my content would just grasp that point alone, we might be able to get somewhere. I digress for now. The point is, these guys ended up in a situation where they were exposed and they were punished. His partner who filmed him punching this person is getting sentenced next week, I believe. So justice is being doled out. And please don't tell me that cops get away with stuff like even this week, the Jussie Smollett thing shows you that just because someone has done something wrong doesn't mean they're going to get what they deserve when they do it. So this is a broad discussion. Let's not get missing the forest through the trees is what they say. What I want to get to is at his sentencing, McAusland said this, and I'm getting this from NorthJersey.com, when asked why he committed his crimes. He said he was just 21 years old when he joined the police force. He said, "I was afraid that people would say that I was a success, that I forgot where I came from. So I kept my friends. One of those friends made him a drug proposition. I just saw it as a shortcut. It started off as something really small and it snowballed into something else." So that's his words for how he ended up in the place where he was. And let me explain this to you. A good cop, we tend to think about the physical side of policing and the knowledge, the mental side of policing. And you know what? A cop could get on this job from the academy through FTO, through probation, early career, and lack the optimal physical performance or abilities. And they can grow in that. You can learn that. You can get into this job and you can have, a weak knowledge of the law. You start in one place and you can learn how to increase the knowledge of the law and how to practically apply it with common sense in real world situations. You can teach to that. You can improve in that. But character is the base of everything. And character matters more than anything else. If you lack that, you can't be a good cop. If you could be the super tactical and you can be super knowledgeable, but if your character is flawed and not corrected where it needs to be, that's the makings of the bad cop. When you're on course for a career, that small exception where you click off course, and that one little exception that you make in a character issue, years down the road puts you somewhere else you never saw yourself going. That's that snowball effect. And you look back and go, how did I get here? And it's that culmination of small clicks of being off target. So we all have weaknesses in our character. We all do. But when it's exposed, and that's the idea of good police training, starting in the academy, through that FTO, through the probation, on to having mentors and good cop examples in front of you, they will expose you for where your character is weak. And so where those areas you might struggle, they have to be squashed and corrected immediately, so that you stay on target. Oh, I'm off target a little bit. This weakness of mine was exposed. Okay, let's correct it and let's get right here. Sometimes those corrections mean disciplinary matters or corrective actions on the job. But wherever that is, it's got to be corrected, and your character must develop to be stronger in your integrity as you go through your career. And every moment that those temptations or those opportunities come to you click just a little bit, and you don't think it's not a big deal then. No, it doesn't seem like a big deal right then. Some people just train wreck their career all at once. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying those small exceptions lead you someplace down the road you don't want to be. So that is just a little bit of compare and contrast of good cop, bad cop, and not the interrogation, good cop, bad cop, but the career, good cop, bad cop. Maybe this video is helpful to somebody. I hope so. But that's enough for now. Wherever you see this, subscribe or hit the notification option, follow, whatever it is, and I will talk to you guys soon.